As we know that the tissue is a group of a similar cell having a specific function and origin. We have already studied the basic four types of the animal tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and neural or nervous tissue. Now come towards here first the epithelial tissue. Here the diagrammatically epithelial tissue, as we have shown in these above three diagrams, that is the free surface, they are having the outermost free surface present and body fluids are outside the environment. They covers or lies the body parts. Here the diagram that shows these cells or tissues, they are compactly packed or compactly arranged and shows a very little intercellular matrix. Here the simple epithelial tissue is a first type and compound epithelial tissue is a second type. The simple epithelial tissue, it shows a single layer, and the compound epithelial tissue, this shows the many layers. The simple epithelial tissue is composed of a single layer and present inside the body cavities, inside the ducts, inside the tubes. Based on the modification of the cell or the arrangement of the cell, here it is having the squamous epithelial, cuboidal epithelial, as well as the columnar epithelial tissue. Here the first diagram that indicates here the squamous epithelial tissue, which are present the inner wall of the blood vessels, lungs, alveoli, which shows the function, that is the diffusion. The cuboidal epithelial tissue, here composed of a cube-like structure. In location, here this tissue is present in the duct of glands and tubular parts of the nephrons. It shows the function, that is the secretion and the absorption. It is located in the inner side of the nephron, that is the proximal convoluted tubule, as well as the microvilli. Columnar epithelial tissue shows the structure like the columns. It is composed of the tall height cells. They shows the nuclei located at the base. The free surface shows the microvilli. Where is the location? They are found in the stomach and the intestine in the inner lining, and shows the function, that is the secretion as well as the absorption. Ciliated epithelial tissue shows the presence of cilia-like structure on their free surface, which are present in the inner surface of the bronchioles as well as the fallopian tubes. What is the role or the function? Due to presence of the cilia, the particles or the mucus, here they will be get protected. The glandular epithelial tissue is having two types, that is the unicellular, consists of isolated glandular cells, example globate cell, which are located in the alimentary canal, and the multicellular consists of a group of cells present in a salivary gland. Based on the pouring of the secretion of the glands, the exocrine and endocrine gland, this shows the presence of the glandular epithelial tissues. Now come towards the compound epithelial tissue, which is made up of the more than one layer, which is having a function, that is the secretion and the absorption. They are present mostly on the dry surface of the skin, moist surface of buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of duct of salivary glands and pancreatic duct. It is having a function, that is the protection against the chemical and the mechanical stresses. Here, the junction that provides the structural and functional link between these adjacent cells, that is the tight junction, adhering junction and the gap junction. Now here these diagrams, they shows the connective tissue and its structure variation. Here connective tissue that connect the throughout the body. Example as shown in the figures. It is having a type, that is the loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. Again the loose connective tissue is areolar and adipose. Dense connective tissue is a dense regular, dense irregular, and the third type shows the cartilage and the bones. Here the loose connective tissue, the areolar and the adipose connective tissue. Here in this diagram shows the areolar connective tissue and the adipose connective tissue. This areolar connective tissue, they are made up of the yellow fibers, white fibers, mast cells, macrophages, which are showing the various functions. And these adipose connective tissue, they are presence mostly of the oil cells, oil storing cells. Here these adipose tissue, they shows the fat storage. This dense connective tissue, that is the regular and the irregular dense connective tissue. Here example, that is the tendons and the ligaments. Attach the skeletal muscle to the bones and attach to bones one another. Here in this diagram also shows the dense connective tissue, the cartilage. In this diagram we are showing the structure of the cartilage. Here the cartilage internally shows the matrix, chondrocytes. Where the cartilage is the present, or where is the location? The cartilage is present in the tip of the nose, outer ears, joints, intervertebral column, limbs, hands of the adult. Here this diagram, internally it shows the structure of a bone, which are made up of the osteocytes, and the space present, that is called as the lacuna. Now the specialized connective tissue shows the function, that is the bones, they provide the structural framework, they support and protect the organ. The limbs serves the weight bearing function, it takes part in locomotion and movement, and the blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Here the blood, it is the another connective fluid tissue which contains the various cells in the form of the plasma, RBC, WBC as well as the platelets. Now come towards the muscular tissue. Here the muscular tissue, that is the striated, non-striated and smooth muscles. These tissues, they are made up of the muscle cells. The muscle fibers are composed of numerous fine myofibrils. They contract and they relax. The function takes place with the help of them, that is the locomotion and the movements. Here the types of the muscles, that is the voluntary, involuntary and the cardiac, indirectly referred as the striated, non-striated and the cardiac muscle fibers. Here this diagram shows the structure of the striated muscle fibers. Here they are attached to bone, that is the bicep and tricep movement. It will be takes place with the help of these muscular tissues. Here in this diagram it shows the striations, presence of the nucleus, the alternative light and the dark band present in the structurally when we are observing it in microscope also, that shows these bands. Now the second, these are the involuntary. Here this shows the absence of the striations. They are present in the wall of the internal organ, that is the blood vessels, stomach and the intestine, referred as the smooth muscle fibers. Now the third, they are the cardiac muscle fibers. Here the cardiac muscle fibers, they are present in the wall of the heart as they are involuntary in function. The neural tissue, they are spread throughout the body. The unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron or the multipolar neuron spread throughout the body and responsible for the control and coordination of the body. The neurons are excitable cells. They carry or transfer the impulses. They are protected and supported by the neurological cells. They shows the sensation. Because of the presence of the nervous tissue, because of the presence of the neurons, here body gets the sensation. This is about the various types of the tissues and its structure.